Good afternoon, everyone. This is Jory here. Just going to do another best ball draft, continuing with the summer. I'm going to use Underdog today. So I know they're dropping a puppy tomorrow, I believe, but I'm going to go ahead and jump in and do a best ball mania draft. So let's get right into it. So I'm going to get. Here we go. Let me see. We're going to go ahead and get started here. We're going to do first draft. All right, so we've got quite a number of people we're still waiting on. So this was actually going to be my first draft I I have since camp has started. So with camp, there's definitely a lot more news coming out now. There's going to be a lot of volume picking up as far as drafting as the season gets closer. I've been doing a fair amount of drafting before the season just to get some discounts on people. ADPs are definitely going to change a lot over the next few weeks. So uh, camp reports will come out. There really hasn't been a ton of like serious injuries that I've seen. Um, I know news is Van Jefferson is getting his knee checked out. Um, that's really the only big thing. I know there's been some season-ending injuries. I know with the Bucks O line, Ryan Jensen, and I know D tackle Hurst from San Francisco, Torres Peck. But there really hasn't been any as far as like positional players that necessarily have been injured. There's really just a lot of news on waiting on people coming back. Just getting all that information. That's really the biggest thing that I've seen. We've got four more people, so waiting on them to fill. And so I haven't done a best ball mania one in a few weeks, so I just wanted to jump in here because I know there's been a lot of different changes regarding the ADPs. So two more people left. Again, I'm doing this on Underdog Fantasy. Like I've been sharing with what I'm doing on Underdog and DraftKings and also Drafters. But this one is the big one, the $10 million. So there's going to be 3 millionaires made from this. It's going to be the champ, the champion gets a. You'll see the tournament info right here. So the champion's going to get $2 million. Second place is $1 million, and then third is 500,000. But also the regular season champion is going to get $1 million. So again, then this is also half point PPR. So if you're not familiar with Underdog, great site. This is pretty user friendly, and I get the third overall pick. So cool. We'll see here. Like really, right here is where it's This has been the decision kind of summer because I really like Justin Jefferson. I think he can really finish as a wide receiver one. But also Cooper Kupp just gets so much volume. So I'm kind of see, and they might go before. So Chris McCaffrey might fall to me. We'll see what happens. Got 20 more seconds here. Let's see if I can. This is still clear if I zoom out. Let me do that a little bit. So Jonathan Taylor went first. McCaffrey. So Coop or Jefferson, Cooper Kupp or Jefferson. Kind of going back and forth. I'm just going to take Justin Jefferson. I do think he's going to finish as a wide receiver one. So I'm gonna stick with that and go Justin Jefferson. Not that I don't think Cooper Kupp is good. It's just I I think he's just gonna have a massive year. So starting out with him, I'm going to pick next. I'll just kind of turn the board on here. Jonathan Taylor, Jefferson, Jamar Chase, Derrick Henry. Cooper Kupp fell to 6. A little surprising. That usually doesn't happen. I'm kind of messing with my zoom in settings a little bit. I'm just trying to make sure. Move it back. Sorry about that. Yeah, really after the 5th pick, after the first 4, really after the top 5, yeah, it's really just been Taylor, Chris McCaffrey, Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, and Cooper Kupp. Really after that, it's just kind of a crapshoot is kind of where you're going, just because there's just can be a lot of opportunity, like Dalvin Cook, especially with that's kind of why I'm taking Justin Jefferson, is because I think they're just going to change the way now that Mike Zimmer's gone. They're really just going to change their offense. They have the Rams offensive coordinator, which saw the Rams offense last year. Stafford threw 50 touchdowns. I mean, they're just going to air the ball out. So that's that's kind of the case for Justin Jefferson. Could be the wide receiver 1, but also it could possibly help Dalvin Cook. We know if Dalvin Cook gets hurt, that Alexander Madison really just gets all the shares, but he could be involved a little bit more in the passing game than he has in the past. Instead of them just all of his touches coming from carries, he can definitely be involved a little bit more in the passing game. So Dalvin Cook's interesting. Travis Kelce just went to turn. And so I'm up at 20 seconds. So let me just see some guys that might be available. Fournette, maybe AJ Brown. I'll just put a few guys in here because I'm going to be picking off the turn as well. I like to just queue up some guys just in case. Just in case I get stuck or something. I like to queue them up just in case. But yeah, this is now that we're kind of getting into August. Like I mentioned, a lot of different news is going to start coming out. I know Leonard Fournette had the big issue and him checking into camp a little heavy. Not really worried about that. And August camp definitely in Tampa. He's going to lose 10 to 15 pounds just from being outside with all the pads on and stuff. So I'm not really worried about his weight issue. He definitely didn't look overweight when he checked into camp. So, but that news has caused him to fall a little bit. Mike Evans is falling a little bit because of I'm just going to go ahead because I haven't gotten this. I'm going to take Mike Evans because I didn't expect him to be here. And the part of the reason I'm taking him because I know he's falling because the Chris Godwin news. But even with Chris Godwin, you see since Tom Brady's been there, 100 plus targets, 13 touchdowns. He's the big red zone threat. So even with Godwin, we don't. A lot of people are just because he's practicing. Could he be ready for week when he can, but he's not practicing with the team. He's just doing stuff on the side. And I know people are drafting. You want to draft, especially with best ball, for November, December. But Mike Evans is Tom Brady's red zone threat. Like he is, as you can see, even with Godwin on the field. And I love Chris Godwin. He's super talented. But even with Chris Godwin on the field, Mike Evans is getting his 100+ targets. He's the number one option in the red zone. 13 touchdowns. And Tom Brady's first year, 14 last year. I don't see that. Even with Chris Godwin coming back, I don't see that cutting into his production. Plus, Antonio Brown's not there and Gronk is not there. So there's still a lot of vacated targets out there that have to go to somebody. So even if it's not even if it's not, they're not all going to go to Chris Godwin. So that's why I still like him. He's usually not there. I mean, a tough spot. I just took Mike Evans, so this is going to cause. I'm going to go ahead and just take AJ Brown, just because I've been taking them, but I usually don't get 3 wide receivers like this, guys that 1,000-yard receivers that are going to be the number 1 option on their team. So I'll go with that start, kind of a 0 RB start there, and then I'll come back and kind of look at running back in my next few picks. But yeah, that's kind of I've seen Mike Evans start to fall, but I mean he's consistent. He's had 1,000 yards every year he's been in the league. So no matter he's been playing this beside Godwin, even when Antonio Brown came in. I mean, we know AB had his shenanigans and kind of quit in the middle of the game, but with all that talent, with Gronk still being there, Mike Evans is still going to have his 1,000 yards, and because of Tom Brady so efficient, he's getting his 10+ touchdowns. He's had 27 touchdowns in the past 2 years. So as you can see, him falling kind of into the back of the second, into the third round now is, I'll definitely take a shot on him there. Because I know Godwin got clear, but he's not practicing with the team. He's just kind of running drills on his own. So, but even though it is encouraging that he is practicing, the ACL MCL complete tear and he had operated on in January. I could be like, this is one thing I'm taking a stand on. I mean, I can be totally wrong, but I've seen that injury before. Like I haven't been injured like that, but playing college ball, I've seen that, and I know things have changed a lot, but having a complete knee reconstruction and then him saying he's going to be ready in 7 months is like, I don't know how. And like I said, I could be wrong, but that's just one of the things I'm taking a stand on. So I'll go to the board. No, I thought Kamara would have been there because Kamara's been going a little bit earlier, but now he's starting to kind of go back up because the news of he might not be suspended this year. So getting out. So round 3. Yeah, see, like I would have taken Leonard Fournette, but like Leonard Fournette should not be going this late. Like I didn't do it in this draft, but I would, if he keeps going in the last part of the third round, just keep drafting him. Like the same thing last year. Rojo is going to take. He's a better running back out of the two. Like Leonard Fournette is by far and a mile better than Rojo. That's why they kicked him out and just re-signed Fournette. There's just always been this bad talk about Fournette, but I mean, he was the number 1 high school prospect, number 1 college prospect, and he was top 5 pick. And in a good situation like he has been in Tampa Bay, he's been outstanding. So just another kind of narrative that, I mean, if you can get Leonard Fournette just in August, if you can get Leonard Fournette right here in the 3rd and 4th rounds, just take him because that's a steal. He shouldn't be going that late. Not in a Tom Brady-led offense where there's definitely more receiving targets open. Don't always take the cheese, and sometimes just draft on talent, and he's way more talented than that. So Josh Allen fell. You don't see that often, so he fell pretty late. Justin Herbert just went, so I'm about to be up. Let me see who's on the board. Cam Akers, you got Gabe Davis, Waller. All right. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and just going to go ahead and get an elite quarterback. I'm actually going to take Lamar Jackson. here. So having one of the things that I always like to get in most of my teams, not all of them, I don't shape them all this way, but getting a really elite quarterback with an elite rushing floor, that definitely helps, especially on a site like Underdog, where it's half point PPR, and they don't and you don't run a lot of they don't run a lot of bonuses as far as like um, as far as 300-point games and things like that, like DraftKings does. So having a quarterback with an elite rushing floor is definitely going to be helpful. I know there's some dispute and contract stuff going on with Lamar. I think they're going to pay him. I don't see why they wouldn't. Um, the whole injury narrative with him is kind of overplayed. He got a high ankle sprain off of a drop back, not off of getting hit. He doesn't take big hits, and even if he was just talking about how much he bulked up and everything. So I'm just going to reach a little bit here. I do really like Jerry Judy. I have a lot of them. I'm just going to reach so just so I can complete the stack. I'm going to take Rashad Bateman. Just because he's going to be the number one receiver on the team. They've kind of drafted the way they've kind of set up their team. It looks like they're going to go back to kind of the heavy tight end look instead of the spread look. That's kind of where Lamar has been the most effective. I would like to see him spread it out, but hey, that's kind of how they're moving their offense back. So having Rashad Bateman, he's definitely their wide receiver. After they traded Hollywood, he's definitely their number one option. So if Lamar's going to have a massive year, which I think he is, it's going to be definitely it's going to be Bateman. And Mark Andrews is going to have a good year too, but it's definitely going to be Bateman and that to receive a lot of that. So I'm definitely going. I know I said I was going to go running back next, but sometimes you just have to be nimble, kind of how the board fell. And David Montgomery is there, but I'm not like super high on him. And Cam Akers, I'm kind of shaky on, just because he's coming off of his torn Achilles, and when he came back, he didn't look good. So obviously the rest has helped, and he's in a great offense. But I'm kind of shaky on him right now. So I'm definitely going full 0 RB on this. But I love the start with an elite quarterback and then elite pass catcher Jefferson, Mike Evans, AJ Brown, and Rashad Bateman. So I love the start. So let me. This might be a room where some running backs fall to me, and then I can take them there. So we'll see what happens on the turn. Let me get back to the board. George Kittle just went. Yeah, George Kittle's falling too. Like that's why sometimes you want to jump in some of these drafts. Some of these guys, you're going to get good value on. I don't think George Kittle shouldn't be going that late. I know he is. There's a lot of questions about how many routes he runs, but I mean, if he's because he's one of the better blockers, so he doesn't go out for a lot of pass routes, but he does thrive on efficiency. And I mean, even if he's not going out, even if he doesn't go out for the most pass routes, I mean, if he gets 9-10 targets and he catches 8 of them, like that's still good. And then there Chris Godwin just went, so he's kind of Chris Godwin is rising a little bit. But it's interesting, like, again, when this news come out, how these ADPs just flip. So Chris Godwin's just kind of being drafted where he is. He's being drafted at a good position, like round 6, but it's like the people around him are tanking. It's Mike Evans is dropping in ADP, and Russell Gage is like tanking, which I don't know. And then the signing of Julio too. So that's part of it. So that's part of what's going on with Tampa Bay right now. The Julio signing, and then Chris Godwin being cleared to practice, not going on the PUP list, is really kind of what's affecting Tampa's ADPs. Like even Russell Gage is like he's falling so far. But I mean, they signed him 3 years, $30 million. They didn't give him $30 million to play special teams or be the number 5 receiver. Like he's going to be out there, and Tom Brady's going to air this ball. I was kind of making a joke that he's going to throw for like 6,000 yards because now that he has kind of Bruce Arians out of the way and not in his ear, I think him and Byron Leftwich are getting together, and Tom Brady's just going to try and air it out as much as he can. Plus, he's, this could be his last year because he already retired, and he led the league in passing last year. So, I mean, it's everything set up. Even if they're tank, Russell Gage is tanking right now. It's not like he's not going to be involved in the offense, in my opinion. So I probably need to just take a running back. But again, this is another one. Miles Sanders is kind of tricky. Let's see. I kind of have A.J. Brown, so we'll see what I do there. So that is interesting. I'm actually just going to take. It's kind of a dead running back area here. I'm just going to take Antonio Gibson. He could lose the goal line work. I don't love that pick, but I mean, if he's falling where he is, I don't mind taking that again. One of those things where I'm just kind of torn, but I'm going to bet on his talent. Antonio Gibson is definitely even I know that J.D. McKissick is back. He's going to get the pass down work, and where Antonio Gibson's going, I don't mind taking a shot on him. I've got a couple more till I'm back up. Trey Lance. Now that they've kind of just moved on, they're going to. Trey Lance is going to be the guy. So Miles Sanders, and they're really close. See, these two are in weird situations, and I'm going to. I'll take Tony Pollard. I have taken Miles Sanders, so I don't mind taking that. I just need to get some running backs. I might build this as like a 6 running back team, just because I am really strong at receiver. So I might just build out 5 or 6 running backs because I kind of waited a little late. But again, Tony Pollard, he's going to be the number 2 back, but good running back, catches passes. It's just that Antonio Gibson. If they would just throw him the ball, I just don't understand. This dude was a receiver in college. Why? Some of these franchises, man, I just don't understand. Why? I don't understand why a converted receiver that plays running back that can catch passes, you won't throw him the football. I just don't understand that. And then when they threw him the ball last year, against Buffalo, he had threw him a screen pass and he took it 75, 80 yards. Why won't you do? I don't understand why they won't do that. And then they drafted a running back so he could lose the goal line work. So that's kind of why I didn't love taking Tony Gibson, but I just kind of needed a quarterback. I needed a running back. And then certain times, if I get stuck, I'll take picks based on talent. Antonio Gibson's talented. Tony Pollard is talented. So yeah, their volume. And again, I love the start. I had a receiver with guys that are solid number 1s on their team. So I don't love the running backs, but whatever. I won't say I don't love them. I do like Tony Pollard. I drafted a lot of Zeke last year. He's going at a position. He's just going at a weird position where I just can't get him. It's not that I don't like him. I just rumors of Zeke's demise have been greatly over exaggerated, in my opinion. I mean, he played on a torn PCL last year and still finished as a running back 6. So I mean, I don't know. People are brutal. They want you to be the number 1. If you're not the number 1 guy every year, you're falling off. So he's definitely not the same back, but I mean, he's still very, very effective. So I'll be at 94. There he goes. There's another guy that's interesting right here. Because all of the stuff that he can't breathe, he has conditioning issues, he's out of shape, and now that camp has started, he's having a great camp. So again, like people are like he's not going to acclimate to the NFL, and if you watch his tape, he dominated the SEC. So uh, Traylon Burks is interesting, and he's kind of at a discount right now because they drafted him to replace AJ Brown. Like they literally traded him on draft night and then drafted the same archetype, 220 plus pound receiver. So their offense isn't going to change. They're just going to plug him in and have him do what AJ Brown did. Now he's not proven he's a rookie, but all that, I know he had some conditioning and he was unavailable. He was kind of just, but he's having a great camp so far. So oh, and so he's right here. I am going to see, like, this is interesting because Tom Brady, for some reason, is falling. I could pair him with Mike Evans, but I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to take Traylon Burks because he's having a great camp. And I think he has a shot to be him. He has a great shot. So yes, he gave him right after me. I probably could have double stacked. But I mean, I still could go Brady if he falls, and then see if I can try and get Julio, but we'll see. And I already have a lot of Russell Gage, so it's fine. Let's see, yeah, I might take Brady if he falls because that's way too low. I mean, I'm a guy that having your second quarterback being the guy who led the league in passing yards. And Robert Woods just went. So yeah, that's why Robert Woods and like either one of them because he's coming off a torn ACL. So and yeah, so he just stacked them right behind the other. Yeah. Okay. Oh, it's all good. It's all good. Mm-hmm. Go ahead. Wander's going ahead of that. I'm just going to continue to take. Just going to take Devin Singletary. I think he's just going at I think he's going a little bit too low. And again, on the Bills offense, he took over that job the second half of the season last year. So he's still going to be involved. I know James Cook, they made an emphasis to draft James Cook to kind of for passing work, but I think it'll still be Devin Singletary's backfield. I know like reports that Zach Moss is having a good camp. I guess I don't know. Devin Singletary is going to be the league on that backfield. I believe. I think they were drafted at the same time. They've been on the team for at least 2 years. So I don't know what Zach Moss did that's going to propel him over Devin Singletary, but I don't think that's going to happen. And again, key draft as if you're right. So I'm drafting as if Devin Singletary is going to hold on to the job from Zach Moss that he's been holding on to for the last couple of years. And James Cook, I love where James Cook was drafted. I was drafting a lot of James Cook in the like the big board super flex before the draft. I was always using him as my last pick. So when he went to Buffalo, I'm like, oh, he landed in a great spot. So, but we'll just see how he's used. I have some of them, but I just like where Devin Singletary is going. I did Traylon Burks. Yeah, I could have done that Tom Brady, but that's all right. It's all good. I use a very, very high pick on Lamar Jackson. So I've been getting some of those teams where I'm just trying to mix up some of the ways I'm drafting. So getting like two really good quarterbacks on good offenses, getting one elite one and then one really late. I've just kind of mixed and matched them. So we'll see. Just one of the things you just have to build a lot of different teams and just see what works. But like I said, I've got some really good receivers to set up some stacks here. So where am I? So I'll be at 118. Let me just see some guys I can possibly get. Maybe I can do a Minnesota stack. We'll see if that works. If not, then we pivot. That's what I like to do. Maybe see if I can. Yep, and Kirk Cousins went. So let me see if I can get a. Jalen Tolbert's getting steamed. I had a lot of him before it came out that he might be starting because Gallup. He's still. I just don't understand. Like, and this is a lot of that was happening in the summer. Like, Jalen Tolbert was getting drafted. Now they're kind of even in ADPs, but he was going like 50 spots ahead of him. I just did not understand that. I just did not understand why people are drafting hurt players, drafting guys coming that tore his ACL and struggled with injuries all last year was getting drafted above Jalen Tolbert, who was getting like all the reps with the ones in minicamp. But now that camp is open, people were like, "Oh, there's more eyes on him." It's just like now his ADP has moved like 20 spots because he was getting drafted in like the 150s. Kirk Cousins got taken, which I don't. Every draft I do, like Kirk Cousins goes so far ahead of his ADP. Dale just went, but it's all good. So I am going to again. I'm just gonna take Justin Fields here again. Just getting. Justin Fields. Getting, again, another quarterback, high rushing floor. And then we'll see. I'll probably take one of these tight ends. This is definitely going to be a 3 tight end team. So if I don't get like I do like and I have to correlate my teams too. So sometimes people will reach and on picks. I have a lot of Irv Smith. He's one of my like top exposed type as far as exposure tight ends I have. Because I do think Minnesota's going to be a good offense as far as I think they're going to throw the ball a lot more, and that's going to be an emphasis. Oh, well, he just went anyway, so it's all good. So I am going to, as I'm talking, so that's fine. I'm just going to take Cole Kmet because Cole Hardman, Alexander Madison. I'm kind of already have some exposure to the past game. Christian Watson's hurt. Rashad White, I don't think he's going to be as involved. Damian Pierce. I don't know what's going to happen in the Texans backfield. Plus, they've got too many to figure that out unless somebody emerges. So I'll just go Cole Kmet. So, like I said, I've got a single. I got my stack with Rashad Bateman, and I have my stack with Justin Fields. So, got some correlation with my two quarterbacks. Those are the only two quarterbacks I'm going to take. Love those picks. Two guys that can have big years. Mainly Lamar. I don't really know what's going to happen with Chicago. I don't think they'll be very good, but that's good from the quarterback standpoint because if they're playing from behind, they're going to throw the ball a lot. So I didn't get Mooney with them, which I have a lot of Darnell Mooney again, like I did last year. Now that Allen Robinson is gone, he's going to be the guy, and Cole Kmet's also going to be the guy because they just don't have anybody else to throw the ball to. So. The N'Keal Harry trade did nothing because he has done nothing in the NFL, so I'm not worried he's going to take targets from any of those guys. I think a little bit's going to happen. I think it's going to be a little bit different from Justin Fields' standpoint this year because last year he kind of splashed in the preseason, and then Chicago moved to put him on the bench. So this year, that's not going to happen. There's no Andy Dalton there. There's no Nick Foles there. So he is the guy. So I think him having a full summer and kind of catering the offense towards him, plus him knowing he's going to be the guy, works super hard. So I think he's going to have a big year. Even though they're not going to be good, even though the Chicago Bears might not be very good, even if they're behind, again, he's going to be throwing. He can have some big days. So love where he's going right now, and he might make flash player too that might drive his ADP up, but I'll take him right now. So Got 3 backs. I'm at 142 next. So let me, like Julio went from round 18 to, from round 18 to, he's getting, he went from round 18 to the end of round 12. But it was a good signing. So we'll see. 43. Oh, perfect. See, because I didn't take him, I can probably. 147. I could probably come back and get Gainwell since I didn't take Miles Sanders. Julio goes 137. I didn't have a lot of them even when I picked him a little bit at the end of round 18 on some of the DraftKings drafts. I just have because there's 20 rounds in that one. I haven't gotten a lot of them, and now that he's up 50 spots, I don't know that I'm gonna. If I get him, I get him, but I'll probably just hold off. If he has a big year, he does. It's just one of those things that if you don't get him at a discount, then it's kind of like, oh well. But still keep drafting your guys that you like. Especially if there's going to be a lot more volume of people coming in drafting. So when they see, Julio's healthy and he's with Tom Brady, so he's just going to get streamed up really, really quickly. Let me see. I don't have a lot of. I'm going to take Josh Palmer here. He's working that kind of third spot in the Chargers offense. Again, these are another explosive offense, and he's getting that slot work. They're going to run a lot. I assume they're going to run a lot of 11 personnel. I believe that's what they did last year. And so, these tight ends, I don't love either one of them. And then Pat Fryermuth just got hurt. I mean, he'll probably be ready for the season, but let's see. Gesicki. Gesicki's going a little bit too high. He's super athletic and had a great year last year, but they're probably going to be a run-heavy offense like San Francisco. And how George Kittle does is George Kittle stays in and blocks a lot. So that might be what Gesicki does. Just, it's how Mike McDaniel – that's how the offense runs San Francisco. So if Mike Gesicki is going to be more of a blocker, he's not nearly as efficient in the passing game as George Kittle is. Mike Gesicki runs a lot of routes. So if his routes are going to come down and he's going to block more, then his production is going to go down. Nico Collins, Jesus, that is super early. So I'm going to go ahead. Since I didn't take – I already have quarterbacks, even though I love where Trevor Lawrence is going. I'm just going to take Kenny Gainwell. Again, even though I was kind of back and forth on missing – see, their running back room is so confusing. But I'm just going to take Kenneth Gainwell. So, and then Deshaun Watson went pretty early. We'll see what happens with that situation. But, I mean, the Browns are at value right now. So, if you'd like to – it's an interesting strategy. I mean, it's a decent strategy because people are kind of waiting to hear on the Deshaun Watson news, and it's affecting all of Cleveland's ADPs. So, but see if we can find. So what's my build now? I have 2, 4, 6, 1. I like all of these guys. I've got legitimately 5 number ones, and then Josh Palmer, who came on strong at the end of last year and who's going to be involved in an explosive offense. So I really like how this team is shaping out. Got to get some more guys at tight end. I try to go elite tight end as much as I can. But if I don't get there, then I'll just go 3. We've seen over the last couple of years that, whether it's Dalton Schultz last year, I think it was Logan Thomas a couple of years ago, that there's tight ends that come out of round 18 to be viable, like top 5, because there's so much volatility in the position that if you don't get a Travis Kelce, Mark Andrews, Kittle, those type of guys, like it's just. But there's opportunity in later rounds for a tight end to emerge. So that's if I don't get an elite guy, then I will punt the position. But again, you can build teams a couple different ways like that. Because I do have a lot of Travis Kelce. So if I don't get Travis Kelce or a Kittle, those are kind of, and I like Mark Andrews as well. I think he's going a little high, but I think he's going to be the main guy on that offense. So, but there is some value tight ends later that can emerge. So we'll see. Like there's one Alberto. I know people are like he might lose his position, but okay, if he doesn't, he's around 14 tight end and Russell Wilson and all Russell Wilson led offense. Like that's big. And I know Tyler Higbee is still working on him. I'm not gonna take him. I gotta look at reports to see if he's practicing or not. I don't know if he is. So Marvin Jones, Corey Davis. I do like Corey Davis if he's back, but again, let's see where I've got Cole Kmet. I'm just going to take a guy that I'm huge on. That's Noah Fant. Again, we don't know what this offense is going to look like. I know that they're running tight ends, but I mean Noah Fant, he could be. I know DK Metcalf just signed an extension, but Noah Fant, super athletic tight end going in round 14. That could be a factor in that offense. Obviously, their quarterback play is not going to be great, and then they might go after Jimmy G if they do. But no offense, super athletic, and he played with Drew Lock last year, so he didn't play with great quarterback plays last year and was still productive. So, can he be viable? Based on. I mean, he's getting the same quarterback. If Drew Lock wins the job, he'll have the same quarterback he had in Denver, and he was fine last year in Denver. So he can definitely carve out some targets. And then again, Cole Kmet, just with outside of Darnell Mooney, who else are going to throw the ball to? So I'm going to take Corey Davis here. He's going super late. He got injured last year, but when he was healthy, he was getting a ton of targets. So I think he's going at a really good spot. Take him. Then McKenzie's going hard. Yeah, I already got my exposure to him in the 18th round before he got streamed. So if I miss out on him, that's fine. So let's see, we got a 2-4-7-2 build. We'll see how I build this. Yeah, see now he's going around 15. He was going around 18 before camp started. So which is weird because even in minicamp, like Zay McKenzie was running at the ones over Crowder, but again, a lot of the news was just wasn't out. I took Corey Davis, like George Pickens. These are good picks right here. Because I know with Garrett Wilson being there and Elijah Moore, everybody just expects like those two are going to lead. But I mean, Corey Davis was getting 8-9 targets when he was healthy. So we don't know what the Jets offense is going to look like. I'm not particularly high on them, but as my 7th receiver, and maybe as one of those weeks. So. See, now that camp is open, these guys like the Paris Campbells and the Isaiah McKenzie's who are going in round 18 at like 190, Julios and stuff like that. Now Wan'Dale Robinson's another one. These guys are in round 18 now. They're getting pushed into round 16. So these are just some things that are going to move. I like Wan'Dale Robinson too. I like him at Kentucky. So I watch a lot of SC football being from Alabama. I'm in Georgia, but being from Alabama, I watch a lot of SC football, and he was definitely kind of do it all guy at Kentucky. And he's definitely getting some opportunities now that Sterling Shepard had that torn Achilles. And Darius Slayton, they don't know what they're going to do with him. So getting streamed a couple rounds. So I am up. Let me see at 190. I kind of said I was going to build this with 3 tight ends. I might not do that. We'll see. I got Rudolph going. I don't know if I'm going to take him. Just 206. Bounce Peoples Jones, another one. I mean, guys, he's probably going to be their number 2 receiver, and he's going in the 16th round. So I already took. I think Dave McKissick's a good pick, but I already took. So I'm just going to take. I'm going to take Chris Evans. Just because I do need another running back. I think I might just leave the tight end position alone. I might just go with 2 because Tampa Bay situation. We don't know what's going to happen with that. Logan Thomas is good for. We don't know what's his health. I already have the Tennessee Jones. Deandre Johnson, good pick. He might get traded. So and there's nothing wrong with that. I'll see. Let's see what. Fuller, he's still getting drafted, but we don't know what's going on with him. Or I could double stack this. Get some Duvernay. Want to do that. There's also one thing you want to do is get some round 17 kind of correlation. So I got it with I don't have like full game, but Singletary and Chris Evans, and then let me see. Carolina plays. I double stack this team. Yeah, let's do it. Oh, wait. What is this? Oh. Fuck. Oh. Dang it. Well, this team, that sucks. I already had Antonio Gibson. That's why I queue guys up. That's really it's pointless to have both of them. Oh, well. This team's probably dead, but we'll finish it out. Do not want to do this. You don't want to have 2 backs on the same team, but should have just queued them. I don't know why I did. I just didn't queue one of these guys. Oh, well. That's frustrating, but we'll finish it out. God, that's so frustrating. I hate. I don't think I've done that all summer, but oh well. And the reason you don't want to do that is because you're essentially taking like one of these guys are going to spike. The chance they both do in a week is not. So you just want to, if you have 6 running backs on your team, you don't want 2 of them in the. You don't necessarily want 2 of them from the same team, because you're essentially just wasting your roster spots. So. But I've got Washington's backfield, so let's see what happens. This team's probably dead. So let me see. I've got the last pick. My last pick, I'll just take a receiver. That news just happened that Devin Duvernay, I guess he collided with somebody. So what am I at? 2, 6, 7. Let's adjust the board. It's Marshall. Smith. Let's see if they revive the two tight end set. Baker Mayfield. Carolina, I would assume he wins the job there. Code percent. So, two. We'll just take. I'll just take Zay. Whatever. I'll just take Kyle Rudolph. Well, you know what? Never know. I'm gonna take Zay Jones. Not that it really matters, but he's heavily involved in the team, so I'll just take Zay Jones and that. Just frustrated because that was a good team I was putting together, I thought, but I just kind of crapped on it a little bit because auto draft, again, always queue guys that you want. So even if you're looking through stuff, you can at least. So this is what I just drafted. You can always name your team. I'll name this team later, but it was going well. Again, two good quarterbacks with rushing floors. Again, Antonio Gibson was kind of the zero RB style with Pollard, Singletary. Ken's game with Chris Evans, and I just accidentally auto drafted McKissick. So, I mean, you don't want two guys in the same backfield. If they trade McKissick, I might be live or something they might trade. We'll see. And I'm just so frustrated because I love these receivers. Justin Jefferson, Mike Evans, A.J. Brown, Bateman, Traylon Burks. Like these five guys can legitimately be the number one on their teams. Josh Palmer, great offense. Corey Davis, and then again Zay Jones, who is running with the Stars in Jacksonville, but yet he still falls to the 18th round. And then I thought about going through tight ends, but left it as commit and fan. So that is it. Again, so good draft, but then you guys also learned something. Do not do what I did in draft. Two wideouts not two wideouts, two running backs on the same team. Other than that, I like the team. So thanks for watching. Again, if you got guys that you like, just let me know in the comments, guys you're targeting, and stay tuned for another live draft. Or not live draft, but draft that I'll broadcast for you.